And we back with another daily reflection on the Daily Vedantic. Yeehaw! Today's reflection is a whole episode. Well, 5-minute episode talking about this here book. It's called Vedanta Treatise, the Eternities, and this is the book for anyone that is interested in learning soup to nuts, beginning to end, about the entirety of the philosophy of Vedanta. This is it, mother chuckas. Vedanta Treatise. And it's written by our teacher, A. Parthasarathi. And he has 12 books, but this is the one that is the compendium, like I said, beginning to end of the whole philosophy. And it's a pretty short read. But more important than the length of it, it is just how easy it is to read. There's so many books on this ancient philosophy, as you could imagine, and so many of them are so hard to follow. It's actually quite rare as well for one of the texts, for an author, to try to hit head on the totality of the philosophy. So many of them are commentaries on this Upanishad, or it is Vedanta applied to X, Y, or Z in your life, in business or in parenting, and in approaching life to maximize happiness. There's all kinds of different application types of books out there, but Vedanta Treatise is the beginning and end to the philosophy. The first third is kind of the orientation of just the bits and pieces of the philosophy. The second third is kind of like, all right, we're taking off. All right, this is getting really fascinating, interesting. Haven't maybe heard this before. Maybe it's similar to this or that is in the back of your mind, similar to a lot of ancient philosophical views, but expressed in such a clear way that by the third section of the book, you are just soaring. And you're getting into the deep end of the pool of this philosophy, which is actually not that complicated. Episode 1 of the Daily Vedantic gives the overview of the philosophy in 15 minutes. Swami will say in lectures often that you can actually divulge the entirety of the philosophy in maybe 7 minutes, 8 minutes. It is quite simple, but to take simple ideas and make them digestible, to systematically lay out an approach to these ideas with example after example after example. In a book that talks about Christ, Buddha, Muhammad as much as it talks about anyone else, what a treat you're in for if you've never read it. And this idea of buying it and reading it is piquing your interest. What I always tell people is buy it, just read the first 3-4 pages, see if it speaks to you. But what is so unique about this, in addition to it being so digestible, it's written by Swami Parthasarathi. He was a lawyer before this, so it is written, and before that he was a Shakespearean scholar. So it is so clearly written that really anyone from any background can read it and say, damn, that makes a lot of sense. But what's even more important than the clarity and the reflection today, this episode is really on the systematic approach that Vedanta takes to understanding the universe, the world around us, understanding ourselves. The systematic approach that this book takes to this topic. And finally, but certainly not least, the systematic approach that something like the 3-year course, which you can take online on your own time, recommended it to so many people. And months after recommending it, I'll get a text that they checked it out. Now they're listening to a lecture every morning and it's changing their life. the most fascinating part is then months after that, after they start 3-year course, or after they, which you could do in a year and a half, by the way, in the online version. You can, if you listen to a lecture each day, it ends up being a little over a year and a half. But the systematic approach, I don't even know how to articulate this, but the systematic approach is so subtle and beautiful, whether it is the book or the online course or the 3-year course, residential course in India at the ashram. It's so subtly systematic that you don't feel like you're changing anything. And yet the world just starts to reorient around you. An example would be, you tell someone that waking up before the sun comes up, to have reflection, quiet reflection time before the world pulls you out into the day. Tell someone that it'll benefit them, that it will give them a great foundation for the rest of their day, that it will be that building block that then months or years later, all of these things that they're pursuing just become simpler, easier, almost effortless. Tell someone that and they're like, I don't know. I love sleeping in, or I don't get enough sleep as it is. And waking up early just sounds like it's all work. It's all effort. You start reading this book, start listening to the online lectures at your lunchtime in the evening. And I will admit to listening to it at 1.5x speed, which many people at the ashram would hate me telling you that, but I do. The vintage of the lectures right now is from, I think, around 2012 to 2013, 2014. And that is, I think it's 2010 to 2013 right now. And so Swami's about 86 years old then. So this is basically 1.5x speed is basically like, 60-year-old Swami instead of 86-year-old Swami. But those lectures, listen to them on your own time, 40 minutes for a lecture at 7 p.m., 8 p.m. And 3-4 months of listening to it sporadically even. It becomes daily. A few months after that, you start waking up early to listen to it with a clear mind. A few months later, you won't believe yourself when you're telling friends that you got to leave dinner early because you like to get up at 6. A year or two later, you're getting up at 5. Again, this all sounds like effort. It all sounds like all of the preparation, the work, and the schlepping around to surf. And then you catch these waves, these moments, that then you're like, oh God, I'll schlep all day long for this union with a wave gliding down the face for 6 seconds. And you forget all about any effort or cost because you associate all of it with that feeling. That is what this is like. And well, it can start with just checking out the first 3 or 4 pages of Vedanta Treatise. I benefit in no way by you buying the book. I benefit in no way by you checking out the online lectures. I don't think I benefit in any way by you checking out these episodes. Certainly don't do any ads for them and never will. But yes, I do benefit from, I love the satisfaction that comes from finding something that is so beneficial to myself, and then I see it become so beneficial to my community that then I find myself recommending it to everyone I meet. So, in this project of daily reflections where I've referenced the book before. I mean, this book deserves its own 20-part, 50-part series, which I'll probably do at some point. But figured today to make the whole episode about recommending or nudging you to check out the book that started it all for me, Vedanta Treatise. That's today's reflection on the Daily Vedantic. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.